Sherman Oaks, California seems like any other suburban town, but could something dark be lying underneath? Young person Geneva Wright was just having a normal day when suddenly their dog started sniffing under the house. Upon investigation, they found that there was a human skeleton lying there. This begs the question, what are these bones? How do they work? And most importantly, how did they get there? Dr. Thompson, it is a pleasure to interview you.
Welcome.
So what can you tell us about the human skeleton?
The human skeleton is composed of around 270 bones at birth. As you grow and mature, some of those bones fuse together, and by adulthood you have around 206 bones in your body. There are two parts of the skeleton. There is the axial skeleton, which is the skull, the neck, vertebrae, ribs, and the appendicular skeleton, which is the arms, the hip bones, the legs, etc. There is an image of the two. The way I remember it is the appendixial skeleton is like the appendix, which kind of sounds like appendage. It's a bit convoluted, but it works for me. Functions of the human skeleton are support for the body, movement, protection of your organs, production of blood cells, storage of minerals, and endocrine regulation, controlling hormones.
Is it true that the production of blood cells is especially significant here?
Yes, that is correct. Bones have two kinds of bone marrow in them, red bone marrow and yellow bone marrow. You can look inside here and see. Just kidding, this one's full of peanut butter. Now, human infants are born with all red bone marrow, and as they mature, some of that turns to yellow bone marrow, meaning in adulthood, it's about 50-50. The yellow bone marrow is where fat is stored, and the red bone marrow is where red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets are made during a process called homeopoiesis. Called homeopoiesis. Homeopoiesis. I'm a professional. This is what I do for my job. Long story short, the key ingredient in that red bone marrow that makes those blood cells are stem cells called hemocytoplasts. This is vital for the life of all animals, not just humans. However, the bones that were found at the Wright family home are different. They don't seem to have any bone marrow in there at all. We've seen bone marrow disease before. It's a fairly common thing, but this is something different. Hollow bones, almost like a bird or a bat, but with no bone marrow in there at all.
So this person couldn't produce blood. How were they alive?
That is something I would love to find out.
Why are you so unbothered about finding this skeleton?
I mean, I've always been kind of fascinated by the macabre, and also, as soon as I saw that skeleton, I knew that it had been there for a while, it had been dead for a while, so I wasn't in any immediate danger. There wasn't a killer on the loose that I needed to make a marrow escape from.
And how are you so sure of that?
Well, skeletonization with no soft tissue is the last step of decomposition, and this skeleton was completely clean. It was bone dry. It wasn't a recent death.
Fascinating. Do you still have any of those bones that you can show us now?
No, I had to stern them into the police as soon as I found them.
Well, thank you for your time. We'll get back to you with any answers. For more information, here's a video on human decomposition. In a rare moment of weakness and transparency, I, the documentarian, will tell you that I just looked up a video of human bodies decaying, and it was very gross. So I'm going to spare all of you that. And now here's a series of drawings of human decomposition.
They say that beauty's just skin deep, so naturally please show me your bones, bones, bones. Let me see your bones. Well, I don't wanna know if the feeling follows on. Bones, bones, bones. Hell, we're all alone. If I come home, baby, will you show your bones?
Many mysteries and many bones, but what can we learn from looking at a skeleton?
Doctor, come quick. I believe we found something important. We got the sculling and we were trying to find the dental print to send to forensics to help identify the body. But I believe I've figured out what makes these bones so peculiar, so inhuman. It's not human physiology at all, Doctor.
Give me that leg! Give me that leg!